What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us on this Tuesday. We're Sports Day, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Top of the show, we talked a lot about Damar Hamlin and his situation. We don't have any updates. If we get any, we will let you know. But certainly a very difficult situation for everybody involved. And first and foremost, you're praying for him. But, you know, the effect, the trickle-down effect to not only his family, but the players that were on the field last night, the entire league, everybody who follows the NFL, people who played in the NFL like Barrett, very, very difficult situation. Certainly thoughts and prayers sincerely going to him and his family. If we get any further, we'll let you know, as I mentioned. Some teams are meeting with the media today. Eagles chose not to, and so did some other teams. So for whatever it's worth. I actually spoke to a friend of mine, Mike Catalina. Mike has been is a Philadelphia. He's a South Jersey guy. Mike is. But he's covered the Bills for a very, very long time in Buffalo and just done an amazing job covering them. And he was telling me, he was kind of walking me through some of the stuff last night. Boy, it was scary. He said that he and his crew, all their equipment was on the was in the hallway toward the locker rooms. And he said they couldn't get at any of their equipment. They were trying to find out, like desperately, just trying to find out, what the heck was going on. And there were very few answers forthcoming. And then he said just everybody's reaching out to him that he knows. And, it was a difficult situation. Mike's with 13 WHAM in Buffalo. I wanted to make sure I got his proper credentials there. But anyway, he said he's never seen anything like it. He said to this day, the next morning he woke up and he was shaking. He said he was literally, if you were anywhere near the situation and watching it, it just had an unbelievable effect on it. I know how, we're all watching it on our TV and we're texting each other like, my God, man. But first off, please don't play this game. Please don't do that. And thankfully, smarter heads prevailed and they didn't. And I thought that was the right decision. And I thought the players and the coaches certainly handled themselves in the best way you could possibly handle themselves and for awful circumstances. All right. So we were talking about the Eagles last segment, guys. We're primarily focused on the offense. Let's talk about the defense. So floor is yours. Derek Barrett, I'll start with you, Derek. Your impressions of the way the defense played this past Sunday against the Saints.
I don't understand where they were the first 30 minutes of the game. I really don't. I don't understand how you didn't come out on that field with a more sense of urgency. The Saints' offensive line was already beat up, and their best left guard, Andrews Pete, didn't even play. And you still could not put a dent in that defense the first 30 minutes of the game. You let that offense do whatever it wanted. Now, you held them 13 points, but you let them do what they wanted to do up and down the field for the most part for the first 30 minutes. Okay, Olave came back from the hamstring injury. You had a tight end. I still, for the life of me, I don't care if it's Josiah Scott. I don't care who's on that field. Jawan Johnson is now considered one of the top 10 tight ends in the game today, okay? I don't care if he is a converted running back playing tight end. The fact that he's running free down the middle of the field and you can't stop this dude, that's a problem. I understand you had a matchup problem with Olave. I get that. It's Josiah Scott and whoever else they try to put on him compared to Avante. I get that. But you didn't make the necessary adjustments to disrupt them. You allowed them to run 39 plays in the first half and control the clock and chew up 9 minutes coming out of the gate. Usually the first series is a test pattern for both teams to find out what you can and can't do against the opposition. Saints did whatever they wanted to do the first half of the game. And the Eagles did nothing to counter it. Now, Barry, you look at the game differently than I do because you see certain things I don't see. But you tell me what I'm missing here because I don't understand. They came out and played like it was a practice game the first half.
Derek. I couldn't have said it better, man. When you look at how basic the schemes were that the Saints were running, bruh, they would come out and Taysom Hill be a quarterback.
Yes.
You know absolutely that they're going to run the rock. And then when they did throw a pass, come on, you're throwing it to Jawan Johnson. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
Right, exactly. So when they lined up in that Wildcat, and then they flipped it over and slid over, and then you had Alvin Kamara playing quarterback. You knew they were running the ball, and we could not stop it in that first drive. That's all they ran to score against the Cleveland defense, and we couldn't stop it. Come on, that was basic wing T football right there, man. That's just, you just whoop the guy in front of you, get up the field, create penetration, and stop the running play. We couldn't do it. Taysom Hill looked like he was Ram Man or the best running back in the world, man. I'm like, look at this dude, man. This dude is really running like a running back.
He's strong though. He's strong, dude.
Bro, I know how strong he is, man. But I don't care who. We stopped King Henry. We held King Henry to what? With 30 yards.
Yeah, you're right.
He ain't nowhere like King Henry. And that's the same exact scheme they was running. Come on, man. Give me a break. Give me a break.
Dude,
you got to stop that. But then they did. But I mean, what pisses me off the most is that we let a guy, what's his name? Dadgummit, what was it? The receiver that caught that deep pass on us.
Oh, Shaheed.
Shaheed.
Shaheed. Yep.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm talking about deep on on one of our best corners.
On Bradbury.
Just beat him. That's just basic football. Just beat him.
Yep.
Outran him. Knocked his hands down and kept going. He didn't even break stride. Didn't even break stride. Those are the type of things I'm looking like, what is going on?
It's frustrating, man. And that first drive set a tone. And look, in fairness, the defense did get its act together as the game went on, and ultimately they gave up 13 points. But it's you have to be able to. It works hand in hand. You got to get off the field, and your offense can't be just these futile 3 and outs. And that kind of thing just sets a tone where you don't have opportunities in the first half, and you're digging yourself out of a hole. It felt like the Washington game. It did in a lot of ways. It felt like that, where both sides of the ball weren't doing their job, and all of a sudden, you're trying to play catch up here. But yeah, it wasn't the finest moment, man. Now, flip side, and this is a positive. They keep getting that pass rush. They got 7 more sacks in this game. Reddick had 2, Graham had 2, Hargrave, Milton Williams, and Cox. Brandon Graham got over double digits. They have 4 guys over double digits. They have the all-time record for a team. And by the way, they're creeping up on the Bears of 84. Bears of 84 at 72. This team has 68.
Yeah.
With a game with meaning in it for them. Unfortunately, they do still have meaning. They might get it.
Bro.
They had 5 consecutive games with 6+ sacks, which is the all-time NFL record.
And Daniel Jones is the top 4 in sacks allowed.
Yeah, 40 or something like that.
Because he tries to keep plays alive.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
So they may break that in the first half. Yeah. Let's hope.
That's a positive, but I don't I don't think Kaiser White's playing particularly well. I don't think Bradbury's playing particularly well. I don't think that Slay is playing particularly well right now. Some of that may be trickle-down effects, with not having Maddox or C.J. Gardner-Johnson and all that. Maybe other guys are feeling the sting of that. I don't know, but these are big players for you, important players.
No
for you.
question.
They have to be better. They have to be better.
They haven't been hit with multitudes of injuries like a lot of teams have that have had to make significant adjustments. But the injuries they have been at the strategic positions that you could possibly get hurt at. Your safety, who's a Pro Bowl safety, your slot corner, who should be a Pro Bowl slot corner, and your Pro Bowl right tackle. I mean, those it's obvious that they can't overcome that. As much as we applaud this team for depth, it's starting to show that those 3 positions you cannot overcome. And teams are taking advantage of that. We talk about the sack total and the wow factor behind the sack total. It means absolutely nothing if you lose the game. You can have 25 sacks in a game. If you lose the game, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Nothing. It means absolutely nothing.
You're just wasting good performances.
Yes.
That's what you're doing.
Yes. And now I don't know what this team is, to be honest, after watching the last 2 games. And I understand everything is predicated around Jalen. And if Jalen comes back and does what Jalen does, okay, all this talk is washed away. But you had a quarterback who we all thought could handle the situation because of the talent pool around him. Now, he put on a good performance, but look at the interceptions he threw in that Dallas game. And then you look at the pick 6 he threw, and I'm thinking, dude, what happened to this Gardner Minshew that everybody fell in love with after that Jets game last year? What happened to that dude?
Well,
Where is he?
The one thing I did notice in the Dallas game, he was throwing off his back foot a lot. Some of them were getting there, to his credit. But he looked a little shook in this game, especially, and he just wasn't driving balls. I know he doesn't have a cannon. I understand, but didn't feel like he was driving balls necessarily. He had no feel for anything out there.
No, and he was throwing off his back foot again in this game against the Saints. Once again, throwing off the back foot, and it's taking velocity off his ball. But you're right. He was too hesitant to throw in certain situations. I don't know if it was because of the scheme that the Saints put together or he was just not confident in what he was seeing. But he stood back. He looked like Carson Wentz to me standing back there.
It did. It did. It had that it had that same shaky feel. You're right, Eric.
Bro, I was sitting back thinking the same thing. I'm like, what is going on? Who is this dude that playing quarterback for us right now?
Yeah.
What is he doing? I didn't understand. Like, there was several times he should have pulled the trigger and just didn't do it and got sacked. I mean, you got to grip it and rip it. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the magical elixir is back now.
Well,
There's no way that Jalen Hurts does not play.
Barrett, I think you're right. But we don't know for sure. I mean, he practiced 2 days last week and didn't go.
There is no way on God's green earth that Jalen Hurts does not play. He has to play. Well, we will be a 5th seed.
I hope
into the playoffs.
Let me share this with you guys. So I'm asking people as we're doing this show.
Yeah.
Is Jalen going to play this week? One response, he better. My question next is he healthy enough to go? Not sure. I know they want to see him throwing on the field. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah, so it turns
normally
out
I would get a definitive answer, but
last week was limited. We saw what we saw because people don't know how it works. You get a little bit of time that you can shoot video, essentially, is the way it works at practice. And we as the media have access to it. But that's relatively short, and it's the very beginning of practice, and you get shut down after that. Gardner Minshew took all the one reps last week. So I don't know if it's a guarantee. Like I agree. Ultimately, I agree. I think he is going to be the starter, but it's not 100%. And if it's not, you got to continue to be highly concerned. About why he's not ready yet, man? We're talking 3 weeks now.
If he's not ready for this game, that confirms what I've said 3 weeks ago. There's more to the shoulder thing than what the Eagles are letting on. This is all hands on deck game this Sunday because you're in a position where you can go from number 1 to number 5 real quick in terms of seeding, which means you're on the road for 3 games possibly instead of being at home for 2 games. That's a big difference. You know how tough it is to win 3 weeks in a row on the road?
I did it. So, I mean, I did it either way, man. I'm at a point right now. Like, I mean, it might do them some damn good to go about it the hard way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's seriously just from a toughness standpoint, this team went from being the bullies of the block and are now getting bullied, man. And the only way you can get out of that is to go out and play bully football. And until we start running the ball, it won't. I mean, running the ball is the same reason why we won the Super Bowl in 2017.
Right.
It wasn't until after that 68-yard run that we had against the Chargers at the time that got the defense going and playing at a higher level, got the offensive line and the offense going. And from that point on, they never looked back. They started, the whole mentality just changed and they started playing a physical brand of football. And that's what you have to do. In order to win, you got to play a physical brand of football. And I think that's the only way this Eagles team can turn the corner. They got to get back to that. Jalen Hurts is a tough SOB.
Yeah.
So they got to get it going in that manner. That offensive line, that when they turned it around, came out the second half, they said, look, we're running the ball. And they started doing that. And that's when things got better. Then we got back to being cute again and throwing passes.
Right.
We got to stick to that running the ball, making sure that we take care of business. And until we do that, we're going to go through these ups and downs and the rigor mortis of a season. It's just way too long to go through that.
Yep.
You've invested too much.
Yep. No, agreed.
Way too much.
Yeah, you came way too far for it to sputter out like this. And again, you can get this going back. I mean, the Giants game and the Raiders game come to mind for me at the end of the 17 season. And once the playoffs started, it didn't matter how you finished. So but a good way to get off, you go out there and you put a good performance out there against the Giants. You feel good about yourself in the bye. You can heal up a little bit in the bye and get some mojo going into that first week of the playoffs.
But you got to play your regulars now against the Giants when you shouldn't have to.
Agreed.
This should have been settled a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now you got to have all hands on deck. And there's a possibility, just like with the Giants, anybody else, you could lose another key player in a division game, because this is a game where both teams going to knuckle junction. This is not, you think that Brian Daboll's going to let his team come in here and just get embarrassed?
Yeah.
No,
I'm saying I agree with you. No, he's not. Look, they're a prideful bunch.
Yes. Wink Martindale, hey, they put up 48 on you last time. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
There's a lot of pride factor here.
Bruh, see, you guys are missing the point. At this point, Nick Sirianni, Steichen, Gannon, and Clay got to think, I don't give a damn who they got in there. I don't care if they got all the starters in. I don't care if they got no starters in. I got to set the tone for my team getting where I need to be. Absolutely. And the only way we're going to do it is to go out there and play who we need to play.
That's it.
I'm not worried about nobody sitting down. I'm not worried about nobody being healthy. Let's just go. We got to play great football, get back on track, because you don't want this feeling going into the playoffs.
I agree.
You got to go in with all guns blazing.
But Barrett, they could have avoided this issue altogether had they taken care of business. They could
if my aunt had she'd be my uncle. We ain't even worry about it anymore.
She might be. You never know. Yeah, she might be.
I don't care about any of that. We just got to go out there and choke some people, man.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like
when in doubt,
choke people, man.
Choke.
Yes.
Choke somebody and don't choke for a third consecutive.
Yeah, right. All right, we'll come back. We'll give you the way the schedule sets up. We weren't even sure up until yesterday afternoon, actually, what time the Eagles were even playing or what day, as a matter of fact. But we know the schedule. I know Derek's thrilled about it, so we will get into that. That's for sure. We'll kind of lay all that out. Who's playing where, what games mean something, who's still alive, who's clinched, who's got everything wrapped up. We'll dive into all of that because a couple of OGs woke up and now they're in play, unfortunately. And then some other teams eliminated themselves and some teams helped themselves. So we'll get into all of that when we come back. 2:00, we'll do our full-blown NFL segment, and we'll certainly continue to talk about what has been the major story so far with Damar Hamlin, but we'll also get into Cowboys, Giants, Commanders, Packers, Bucks, Seahawks, Patriots, Titans, all the whole nine. So don't go anywhere. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, Derek Barrett and Rob. We're going to talk about Flynn Tree Services right now. Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face. So if you have any issues with your trees in your yard or on your property, if you do, there's just a quick phone call away, and they are experts at trimming all types of trees and serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. Keep in mind, storm, hurricane season, winds, big gusts, all those kind of things. You want to make sure you get your trees evaluated. Now's a great time to do it before it starts getting worse in the winter. Go to their Facebook or Instagram page for a sampling of their work or more information. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.
Go for the beer